The Peterson family thought they had left the chaos of their old life behind. Their faithful German shepherd, Rex, had retired from the police force years ago. Now he was supposed to live a quiet life, sleeping on the porch, chasing butterflies in the yard, and guarding his best friend, 10-year-old Ethan. But one night, the household was rattled by a strange sound. Rex was growling, pacing, and then, shockingly, biting the wooden frame of Ethan's bed as if trying to tear it apart. At first, everyone thought it was just an old dog acting out. But what they didn't know was that Rex wasn't being aggressive. He was sounding the most important alarm of his life. Rex had been more than just a pet to Ethan. The boy was shy, often sick, and struggled to make friends. After Rex retired from 9 duty, Ethan became his world. They shared everything. Secrets, games, even silent moments where Ethan would just lay his head on Rex's side and feel comforted. The family believed Rex was finally enjoying peace after years of service. But deep down, Rex's instincts never fully shut off. He still had the sharpness of a police dog, and he noticed things no one else could. One evening, Ethan complained of stomach aches and dizziness. His parents, Daniel and Lisa, chalked it up to growing pains or maybe too much screen time. Ethan, ever the brave child, said he was fine, but Rex knew differently. That night, he refused to sleep in his usual spot by the door. Instead, he climbed onto Ethan's bed and pressed his nose firmly against the boy's stomach, whining. Hours later, Rex began scratching and gnawing at the wooden frame, growling low as if trying to pull Ethan out of bed. Lisa rushed into the room. "Rex, stop it! What's gotten into you?" she cried, trying to pull the dog away. But Rex wouldn't move. He bared his teeth, not at Ethan, but at anyone who tried to remove him. His eyes were locked on Ethan's small body, his paws pressing firmly against the boy's chest. The next morning, things took a terrifying turn. Ethan fainted while getting ready for school. Panic spread through the Peterson household as Daniel carried his limp body into the car, Rex barking furiously the entire way. At the hospital, the doctors at first thought it was exhaustion, but Rex's unusual behavior gnawed at Lisa's mind. She explained to the doctors what the dog had done, the biting, the growling, the strange way he kept pressing against Ethan's stomach. The doctors decided to run deeper tests. Hours later, the truth came crashing down. Ethan had a rare internal condition, a tumor pressing dangerously close to vital organs. Left untreated, it could have been fatal. The Petersons were in shock, but it was the doctor's next words that broke them. "If it weren't for your dog's strange behavior, we might never have caught this in time." Ethan needed surgery, and quickly. But the operation carried risks. As the family grappled with fear, Rex never left Ethan's side. Nurses tried to lead him away, but the retired 9 growled until they let him stay in the waiting room. When Ethan was wheeled into surgery, Rex whined and pawed at the door, his nose pressed against the cold floor. For hours, he didn't move. Daniel, who had always seen Rex as a dog, sat beside him with tears streaming down his face. "You knew, didn't you, boy? You knew something was wrong." The surgery was long and tense. At one point, complications arose. Ethan's heart rate dropped, and the doctors had to fight to stabilize him. Outside, Rex lifted his head suddenly, ears pricking. He began to bark loudly, startling everyone. Moments later, the surgeon rushed out to say they had managed to bring Ethan back from the brink. Lisa collapsed into Daniel's arms, and Rex simply lay down, exhausted but calmer now. Ethan's recovery was slow but steady. Through every painful step, Rex was there, guarding him at night, resting his head on Ethan's lap during therapy, nudging him forward when the boy grew tired. The once shy child began to smile again, telling his classmates proudly, "My dog saved my life." The story spread through the town and then across the country. News outlets covered the hero retired 9 who diagnosed his best friend. Months later, on a warm afternoon, Ethan played in the yard, his laughter ringing through the air. Rex lay in the grass nearby, his muzzle gray with age, his eyes watching every move of the boy he had once saved. Rex had spent his life protecting strangers as a police dog, but his greatest mission, his most important duty, was protecting the little boy who loved him. Because sometimes heroes don't wear badges. Sometimes they walk on 4 paws, grow old, and still refuse to stop saving lives. Ethan's surgery was a success, but the journey was far from over. The doctors warned the Peterson family that recovery would be long, filled with physical therapy and emotional strain. Ethan often felt discouraged. His little body was weak, and sometimes he broke down crying, whispering, "I just want to be normal again." But every time Rex was there, he'd nudge Ethan's hand with his nose, bring him a toy, or simply lay by his side, a silent reminder that he wasn't alone. Daniel, Ethan's father, wrestled with guilt. He admitted to Lisa one night, "I almost dismissed Rex as just being restless. If we hadn't listened, we could have lost him." That guilt turned into a mission. He started sharing Ethan and Rex's story with others, urging families to pay attention to the instincts of their pets. Still, not everyone understood. Some neighbors whispered that it was a just luck. But Ethan knew the truth. Rex had saved him. Soon, word spread beyond their small town. A local journalist featured Ethan and Rex, calling the old 9A hero even in retirement. The story touched hearts across the country. Letters poured in, strangers thanking Rex, children sending drawings of him with a superhero cape, even former police officers writing, "Once a protector, always a protector." The Petersons realized Rex's story wasn't just about saving Ethan. It was about hope, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond between humans and dogs. But as Ethan grew stronger, Rex grew weaker. Age was catching up with the old shepherd. His once powerful stride became slower, his muzzle fully gray. Ethan noticed it first. "Mom," he whispered one night, "is Rex getting old?" Lisa hugged her son tightly. "Yes, sweetheart, but he's still here, and he's still fighting for you." The family knew every day with Rex was a gift. And Ethan made it his mission to give Rex the same unconditional love that Rex had given him. Months later, at a town event, Ethan stood bravely on stage with Rex beside him. His voice trembled but was strong. "This is my best friend. He saved my life. I want everyone to know, sometimes heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they have paws." The crowd erupted in applause. Rex wagged his tail slowly, resting against Ethan, his eyes glowing with pride. For the Petersons, it wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about honoring a dog who refused to stop being a protector, even in retirement. As months turned into years, Ethan grew stronger. He could run, play, and laugh like any other child, but Rex was slowing down. His once powerful frame was now stiff with age, his steps slower, and his naps longer. Still, wherever Ethan went, Rex followed, even if it meant limping behind. To Ethan, Rex was not just a dog. He was a guardian, a best friend, and the reason he was alive. One autumn evening, Ethan noticed Rex staring at him from the porch, eyes soft but tired. The dog nudged his hand gently, then lay down with a sigh. Ethan leaned close and whispered, "It's okay, boy. You don't have to protect me anymore. I'll be okay." It was as if Rex understood. That night, he refused to sleep in his usual spot. Instead, he climbed into Ethan's bed one last time, laying his head on the boy's chest. The next morning, when Lisa came to wake Ethan, she found Rex still curled against him. The old shepherd had passed peacefully in his sleep, guarding his boy until his very last breath. Ethan's heart shattered. He clung to Rex, crying into his fur, "You promised you'd always be with me." And in a way, Rex was. The days after Rex's passing were heavy. Ethan would stare at the porch where Rex used to lay. Daniel found himself calling for the dog out of habit, only to remember he was gone. Lisa cried quietly at night, missing the sound of his paws on the kitchen floor. But alongside the grief came gratitude. They realized how extraordinary it was to have been loved so fiercely by a dog who gave everything, right up to his final breath. A year later, the Petersons attended a ceremony at the police department. Rex was honored with a memorial plaque for his service, not just as a 9 officer, but as the dog who saved a little boy's life in retirement. Ethan stood taller now, holding the plaque proudly. He spoke softly into the microphone. "Rex isn't gone. He lives here." He touched his chest. "Every time I'm brave, every time I keep going, that's Rex." The crowd was silent, many wiping tears. Time passed, and eventually the family adopted another German Shepherd pup. The little one had Rex's same warm eyes and stubborn loyalty. Ethan trained him with patience, teaching him tricks while also whispering stories about Rex. This new pup was not a replacement. He was a continuation of a legacy. One evening, Ethan walked into the sunset with the young pup at his side. He looked up at the sky, whispering a thank you. "Rex, you'll always be my hero." And somewhere, in the quiet rustle of the wind, it felt as if the old shepherd was still watching, still guarding, still protecting. because real heroes never truly leave us.